Peace. I'm out of here.
Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First
Earthlings.
Contact Radio.
Welcome to First Contact Radio.
To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. Dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Well, today is a whole lot of beginnings, a whole lot of new activities taking place in the world. It's time for us to check them out, see what they are all about. So what we have, as you can see right here, is we have a sun sign that is leaving Pisces today and it is entering Aries. That will actually take place in a couple hours, 3:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:45 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. Anywhere in between, adjust accordingly. Our moon sign has made a transition. We've gone from Pisces and we've entered the new moon. That occurred this morning when the solar eclipse happened, and that is a new moon in Aries. A new moon in Aries. So Aries is already there waiting, and a little bit later our sun sign is going to be there in Aries. They're going to meet up together. So we had a new moon in Aries with a new sun sign beginning. So there's two beginnings there with the moon and a sun sign. And you got the fresh new moon there. We also have, I'll show you momentarily, let's look at our aspects today. But what we have, we're finishing up Pisces, so we're coming out of that watery sign, that watery element, those emotions. And now that we're coming out of the emotions, we're going to go into the next energy, which is Aries. Aries is fire. Fire moves, right? So we just think of the elements. What do the elements do? Fire moves. Fire burns. So as fire moves, fire burns, we are dealing with that in our consciousness. Right now, unconsciously, we're being affected in that regards, and as we get later today, our conscious mind. So we'll have all of this fire energy around us. Fire is representative of ideas. Ideas that are burning within us. Ideas that want to move. Ideas that want to expand, to be creative. So we have all of this creative energy that's available to us, that's surging out of us. But with all kind of energy, it depends how we use it. If we block this flow of energy coming out of us, then we become more aggressive and angry, filled with angst, because we're not expressing. And so that frustration builds up within us, and that becomes very warlike and aggressive. If we allow this energy to express through itself in a creative way, the energy keeps flowing, and we notice that there's a new synchronicity that we're moving along with. So it's very important that we know really how we want to use this energy, and with all energy, it's simply to learn how to adapt it so your body processes it. That way you can continue to move through life, and every day we're moving through a field of energy. Energy is moving through us. So the better we can get at it, the better we're going to be. And every day in life we have another opportunity, a little bit more practice to get better of how we are using this energy. So we had a solar eclipse. I have a link to that in case you didn't get a chance to see it. I stayed up and watched it. It was pretty cool looking. We have a new moon in Aries later on, and as you could see right here, 4:36 a.m. we went into this void of course phase until we got into the moon. And now we're just waiting for this phase later, 3:45 p.m. Pacific time, in order for us to go into Aries for the sun sign. We have one aspect today that we're going to look at, and that is the aspect that takes place 1:14 p.m. Pacific time, and it is Aries and Saturn. Remember, Saturn is all about focus, discipline. In the tarot cards, it would be the card of the world. It's the card where we sign our name on life. It's the administrative intelligence where we're going to take charge of who and what we're about because we're taking responsibility for our energy, what we put out, how we use it, what we share with others. So all very important for us to understand more and more of energy. And over the weekend, we've got Aries on tomorrow, and Sunday we're going to be making that transition from Aries as the moon sign to the next sign, Taurus, which is an earth sign. Okay, so moving from here, let's take a look over here at the wheel for today, just so we could see how everything's lining up. If we look at this every day, we can see how it's progressing. Right here, we could see all of the symbols, the signs of Pisces, and all of the planets that are lined up there. Mercury, right, Neptune, Mercury, Wounded Healer, the Sun, and then we've got the Moon, Uranus, and Mars all right here in Aries. Down here, Jupiter and Leo. So a lot of this is like yesterday. Very slight changes, subtle changes. That's because some of the planets move faster, some move slower. And so if we just keep track of this, it's pretty cool because along the line here, this left side column, it shows you the different aspects, when we've come out of them, when we're going into them. 4.1 hours ago, it says that there was a conjunction with our sun. As we move forward, we're going to be getting ready for the sun to go into Aries, and so on, all of these different aspects here. So if we want to keep track of that, we can easily do so. Now, being that today is the first day of Aries, the first day of springtime, the very first card that represents Aries is this card here, the Emperor. So I want to take a good look at what the Emperor is all about. It says the fundamental meaning of the fourth key is reason. The key is called the Emperor, and the Emperor is the one who oversees and controls. This is the basic function of reason, for by it we supervise and control all of our daily activities. Vision is also attributed to this card and has a close connection with the faculty of reason, when we consider reason as insight or mental vision. Physical sight is also meant here, and the orange background is a symbolic of the sun, source of light by means which we are able to see. The mountain represents the fiery activity of Mars and Aries, which are attributes of this key. Aries is also symbolized by the ram, heads on the shoulders and throne, and Mars by the steel armor with which the Emperor is clad. The 12 points that ornament the helmet are also astrological. The globe is a conventional symbol of dominion. The globe and the cross, like the circle and the taw of the scepter, symbolize the masculine and feminine potencies of the radiant mental energy or life force. The purple flaps over his armor hint at his rulership, since purple is the color of royalty. I want you to remember this here. The globe is a conventional symbol of dominion. Okay? Just put that away in the back of your mind. Okay, so we could see here, the Emperor, number 4, Hebrew letter He, which means window, color red, note C. The gematria of it is 5. Astrology is Aries, and it's a fire sign. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this, because you're going to find this to be quite interesting. Our numerology for today. We have a 3, plus a 2, plus a 0, plus a 2, 0, 1, 5. All of that adds up to a 13. 1 plus 3 adds up to 4. 4 is the same number of the Emperor. So look at the synchronicity we have going on there. The synchronicity with the numerology and the synchronicity with the astrological sign of Aries at the beginning of this cycle. Okay, a lot of synchronicities. When you really start paying attention to see what's out there, it's amazing. And things, the universe confirms itself over and over. On the Jewish calendar, we are getting ready to go from one month to the next. 29 Adar, getting ready to go into Nisan 1. on the daily thought for today is we can learn from the cycle of the moon, how she waxes and wanes and waxes again, that a time of smallness is a time to become great, and a time of greatness is a time to become small. For in smallness lies the power to receive, and in receiving lies the power to become great. And greatness endures only through its power to be small. Pretty heavy duty, huh? That's deep, man. Way deep. So, important lessons to learn, because we're learning the lessons of flow, how time moves in and out, back and forth, waxing, waning, on and off. They're all basic systems of the universe. And to look at the Jewish calendar, just to see where we're at here, I want to show you in the span of things. We're getting ready to go into Nisan 1. We look right here, and the very first month of the Jewish calendar is Nisan. This is the time when Passover occurs, not today, but over the course of this month. So we're beginning a new month on the Jewish calendar. So a lot of new beginnings here. So we have a new moon, we have a new sun, we had a solar eclipse, we have a new month coming up on the Jewish calendar, and it's the first day of spring. So happy new beginnings to you and to all, for we have an opportunity now to start over. And that's the beauty of things, because we move through life, we make mistakes, we learn lessons, we move forward with the new information we have, and we go on and we hopefully do things better and better each and every time. All right, the current moon phase, as we said, is a new moon right there, 0% of the way full. Space weather, our solar wind, is 87.6 kilometers per second. Our planetary K index is quiet. However, there is a possibility we could get up to 5 over the next 24 hours. It's definitely much less than it had been at an 8. A couple of large coronal holes here, nothing that we see that's going to be affecting us in the near future. However, we still do have this notice that we will feel something coming from them over the course of today. M-class flare possibility is continuing to drop. It's now down to 10%. 20 going down to 10. X-class, minimal at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity is dropping as well in the mid-latitudes, going from 30 down to 20. And then the high latitudes dropping a bit as well, 35 to 25. In some ways 15 to 15 staying the same there. So there are some changes, but things seem to be subsiding. If we look up in the sky tonight, for the sun undergoes a total eclipse for parts of the North Atlantic and Arctic oceans. The partial phases sweep across a much larger area of Africa, North America, North Africa, Central Asia. As dusk turns to night, spot Venus still in the west to its upper right, about a fist arm's length. Look for a 2.0 magnitude Hamal. The brightest star of Aries further to Venus's upper left, or left, look for the 2.5 magnitude Menkar, Alpha Centauri. Spring begins in the northern hemisphere at the equinox at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 3:45 p.m. here on the west coast. The word equinox comes from night and day supposedly being equal on the date, but that's just wrong. It would be true if Earth had no atmosphere and the sun were a point rather than a disk. But when an atmosphere, daylight continues long after that moment of the sunset. Second sunrise and sunset are counted not from when the sun's center is in the true horizon, but when its top edge is on the horizon. This adds a couple of minutes to daytime. And third, atmospheric refraction, as this elevation horizon by the sun by its own is apparent diameter, adding a few more minutes to official daytime. Okay, so pretty close to equinox. This is just, little ways of describing that, what the heck's going on up there. And here we have a nice, good little video. This is 3 hours, 16 minutes, 50 seconds, and this is the eclipse that occurred. Let's see if I can find some areas for you where it really got to be quite interesting. Here's our nice good sun. This is, see, it's starting to show up. And it's getting darker and darker. And eventually it comes out. Alright, so there you have it. That is our cosmic weather for today. I'll be right back, so stay tuned. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alrighty, Dirk. Thank you very much. UFO sightings today. First one comes to us from the sun itself. This one goes back into February. Triangle UFO glowing like the sun in New Orleans. Look at that one there. Nice and bright. This could be light ships, a rare visit by beings of pure light. There are many species of aliens, and a species made of light would look the oldest. Many people made comments on YouTube that it looks like a sitting Buddha or Mother Mary, but if that's true, why would we bother visiting Earth without stopping in to say hello to somebody? The pure light in the west might be a real moon. I'm doing time-lapse now in the east because all three of them flow right in front of me. The last two videos I did caught the mirrors in front of the trees. Okay, so alright, interesting indeed. Yeah, there's whatever's over there. That is the image that is showing up. And that's not the sun. You could see that's a little object in question right there. See it? When you enlarge your screen, you'll definitely be able to see it. It's right there. There you go. Okay? That's pretty fascinating. Moving on. Next, we have this mysterious light scares people. Mysterious flash scares people as streetlights go out and residential lights flicker. A white-blue flash lighted up the sky above the southern Russian city of Stavropol. The mysterious flash has triggered a debate over its origins after dashcam captured the strange light's aerial activity. Interestingly, the soundless flash of light made some streetlights to malfunction or go out. Several people in the area got scared after their lights in the apartments and houses also flickered for no apparent reasons. Around 0:39 local time or 21:39 Greenwich Mean Time on Monday, local residents have mixed theories and interpretations about the incident. Among the arguments presented by the online commenters are military exercises nearby, electricity, net problems, an asteroid, northern lights, and of course, the popular one, UFOs. According to the argument, Fact the report, a woman shared her experience in social media, saying that she was even frightened by her experience. She said that she was in bed and saw a dazzling light that lit up her ceiling. The Hydrometeorological Center of the city said that phenomena couldn't be attributed to nature, but could be anthropogenic, theorizing that the source of the light was somewhere in the ground. However, power engineers ruled out the theory to power supply problems. The public still clueless about the nature of the strange aerial flash. Okay. Public still clueless. The public has been clueless for a long time, as we know, and it probably will continue to happen unless something really gets their attention. Beautiful UFO photographed in the night sky over Ecuador. From Christian Sky, it said back in early February, I spent a week and a half in Ecuador. One of the places I stopped for a couple of nights was the city of Riobamba. Specifically go to visit the iconic Chimborazo volcano. On one of these nights I photographed a strange star-light anomaly. That looks pretty cool. Very good photograph. Says I'm not a pro photographer, however I have shot a number of long exposure night shots to include the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, and I've never seen this effect on any star. Alright, here we have a compilation It's a 6-minute compilation of various types of UFOs over the course of forever. These are the top 5 UFO sightings. And as we go through here, you can certainly see a number of them. This video is 6 minutes in length. I'm going to leave that to you to watch. I'm just going to zip through here a little bit. There we go. There's a good sighting right there. So these are some good images. Some of them, as you can see, are quite old. That's a nice, good, looks like a necklace in the sky, huh? And the last one right here. This was the battle over Los Angeles shot. Remember, there it is right there. This is the one where all the military shot at it, but nothing happened to it, and then it just went away. Alright, historically there was a UFO sighting this day in 1950. There's the image right there. This comes to us from Project Blue Book. The cylindrical appearing UFO was photographed over New York City March 20th, 1950. The photographer's name was deleted from the Project Blue Book files, as were most names when material was finally declassified and released. Upon investigating the report, Project Grudge officially labeled it the Moon. Some ufologists have speculated that tubular objects of this sort may be motherships, purportedly capable of taking on and discharging small craft in stacks, poker chip fashion. Okay, so pretty interesting shot right there. Here's a story of a teacher who's trying to get aliens and UFOs accepted by the mainstream population. Henry Wilness knows all too well that eyebrows will raise when he talks about unidentified flying objects, but that doesn't stop the retired school social teacher from continuing a 60-year quest to see the issue become accepted by the mainstream population. UFO sightings are reported every day around the world and in every country around the world, said the Salem resident and former president of MUFON. Wilness, like other UFO enthusiasts, asks, "Are we alone in the universe?" The question will be the focus of his appearance on the Science Channel show Close Encounters, now in its 2nd season. Wilness will appear in the upcoming episode scheduled to air at 10 p.m. that aired on March 10th. There, he shared his vast knowledge about the highly publicized 1966 reported UFO sightings in Dexter. He'll be on the show again at 10 p.m. March 31st, talking about the reported sightings in Exeter, New Hampshire. In the March 20th, 1966 Dexter case, a group of people, including police officers, reported seeing an object turn from blue-green to brilliant red and yellow coloring. It rose 500 feet and returned to the ground, one man said. Right, see, there's a lot more to this article, but it's awesome that we have an educator who's out there trying to educate the population on something that they need to know about, to be aware of what's going on out there. And the very last one, this comes from UFO Digest. Who were those strange albino people? By Chris Holly. I was sent an email by a woman who lives at the end of Long Island, New York, at Montauk Point. She told me that she often walked her 2 large dogs on the beach along the Atlantic Ocean coast at the end of Long Island. The woman told me that she often reads my articles and remembered one I wrote years ago about the strange, very tall, white, odd-looking family that lived on Long Island in the 60s. The lady told me that while walking her 2 large dogs during the months of December and January, she witnessed a strange family with a huge, strange dog also walking on the beach. She told me that they were extremely tall and seemed to be 2 couples of albinos with 4 to 5 children with them running along the beach as adults. Walk the dog. She told me that she remembered my article and wanted to know if there had any other reports of this strange family being seen on Long Island. I contacted the woman, who told me she stopped seeing the strange group of tall albino at the end of February. She told me she found them to be very odd and that she asked the people in the town shops and her friends and neighbors if they had seen the group. The only other person who claimed to have seen them was an older man who would feed the birds along the shore of the beach, but he only noticed them once and did not recall ever seeing them again. I questioned her and found the woman to be concerned about the people as she felt that they were something other than human and felt very comfortable when walking near them. She told me her large dogs were very protective and a bit on the aggressive side would whimper and stick their tails between their legs, dragging her away from the group, refusing to stay close to them, which ended up with her being dragged in a half run down the beach away from the strange group of people by the frightened protective pets. In all the 50 years since 1965, since my family and I encountered the same type of tall albino people, this was the first time anyone in my area ever talked about seeing not only the Long Islands, but anywhere. And then we have the article, that was the original article talking about this. But I'm going to leave that for you to check out. A very interesting story. And that is our UFO news for today. I'll be right back and we shall continue on. Don't go anywhere.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So today being a day of new beginnings, I was thinking about what would I talk about today. And today's subject I decided to go with is the Krybalion. Because we all want to learn how to manifest in our lives. We all want to learn how to work with energy around us. Whether we are doing it or whether the depth in which we are learning this, that changes from person to person. But it doesn't matter who you are, the principles are always the same. These principles in the Krybalion, I've talked about them before. I really enjoy this book. It is definitely a favorite of mine. And we've talked about these, and these principles are principles of the universe that once you understand them, and I'm going to give a review on all of these, you'll find that these are the same principles that play themselves out in a lot of different psychology and philosophy that we have. When you hear the ideas of manifestation, the laws of attraction, everything can be related back to this. Whether the author realized it or not, everything relates back to these ideas of the Krybalion. So what we have here is we have this page here at Gnostic.org. Gnostic, or gnosis, coming and meaning to know. So this knowledge, the Nag Hammadi library, those are all part of the Gnostic Gospels, the Gnostic text. So these follow along the same line, all of these information here from the Krybalion. So let me read a little bit of the introduction here. Introduction. When we take great pleasure in presenting to the attention of students and the investigators of the secret doctrines this little work based on the world-old Hermetic teachings. There has been so little written on this subject, notwithstanding the countless references to the teachings for the many works upon occultism, that the many earliest searchers after the arcane truths will doubtless welcome the appearance of this present volume. The purpose of this work is not the enunciation of any special philosophy or doctrine, but rather to give the students a statement of truth that will serve to reconcile the many bits of occult knowledge that they may have acquired, but which apparently oppose each other and which often serve to discourage and disgust the beginner in the study. Our intent is not to erect a new temple of knowledge, but rather in the place of the hands of the student a master key with which he may open the many inner doors of the temple of mystery through the main portals he already entered. There is no portion of the occult teachings possessed by the world which have been so closely guarded as the fragments of the Hermetic teachings which have come down to us over the tens of centuries and which have elapsed since the lifetime of its great founder, Hermes Trismegistus, the scribe of the gods, who dwelt in old Egypt in the days when the present race of men was in its infancy. Contemporary with Abraham, and, if the legend be true, an instructor of that venerable sage, Hermes was and is the great central sun of occultism, whose rays have served to illuminate the countless teachings which have been promulgated since his time. All the fundamental and basic teachings embedded in the esoteric teachings of every race may be traced back to Hermes. Even the most ancient teachings of India undoubtedly have roots in the original Hermetic teachings. From the land of the Ganges, many advanced occultists wandered to the land of Egypt and sat at the feet of the master. From him they obtained the master key, which explained and reconciled their divergent views, and thus the secret doctrine was firmly established. From other lands also came the learned ones, all of whom regarded Hermes as the master of the masters, and his influence was so great that in spite of his many wanderings from the path on the part of the centuries of teachers in these different lands, there may still be found a certain basic resemblance and correspondence which underlies the many and often quite divergent theories entertained and taught by the occultists of these different lands today. The students of comparative religions will be able to perceive the influence of the Hermetic teachings in every religion worthy of the name, not known to man, whether it be dead religion or one in full vigor in our own times. There is always a certain correspondence in spite of the contradictory features, and the Hermetic teachings act as the great reconciler. The life work of Hermes seems to have been direction of planting the great seed truth which has grown and blossomed in so many strange forms, rather than to establish a school of philosophy which would dominate the world's thought. But nevertheless, the original truths taught by him have been kept intact in their original purity by few men in each age, who, refusing great numbers and half-developed students and followers, followed the Hermetic custom and reserved the truth for the few who are ready to comprehend and master it. From lip to ear, truth has been handed down among the few. There have always been a few initiates in each generation, in the various lands of the earth, who have kept alive the sacred flame of the Hermetic teachings, and such have always been willing to use their lamps to relight the lesser lamps of the outside world. When the light of truth grew dim and clouded by the reason of neglect, and when the wicks have become clogged with foreign matter, there were always a few to tend faithfully to the altar of truth, upon which we kept alight the perpetual lamp of wisdom. These men devoted their lives to the labor of love, which the poet has so well stated in his lines. "Oh, let not the flame die out, cherished age after age, in its dark cavern, in its holy temples cherished, fed by pure ministers of love, let not the flame die out." These men have never sought popular approval, no number of followers. They are indifferent to these things, for they know how few there are in each generation who are ready for the truth, or who would recognize it if it were presented to them. They reserve the strong meat for men, while others furnish the milk for babes. They reserve their pearls of wisdom for the few elect, who recognize their value and wear them in their crowns, instead of casting them before the materialistic vulgar swine who would trample them in the mud and mix them with their disgusting mental food. But still these men have never forgotten or overlooked the original teachings of Hermes regarding the passing on of the words of truth of those ready to receive it, which teaching is stated in the Krybalion as follows: "Where fall the footsteps of the master, the ears of those ready for his teachings open wide. And again, when the ears of the student are ready to hear, then cometh the lips to fill them with wisdom." But their customary attitude has always been strictly in accordance with the other Hermetic aphorism. Also in the Krybalion, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. These are those who have criticized the attitude of the Hermeticists, and those who have claimed that they did not manifest a proper spirit of their policy of seclusion or reticence. But a moment's glance back over the pages of history will show the wisdom of the masters, who knew the folly of attempting to teach to the world that which it was neither ready nor willing to receive. The Hermeticists have never sought to be martyrs, and have instead sat silently aside with a pitying smile on their closed lips, while the heathen rage noisily about them in their customary amusement of putting to death and torture the honest but misguided enthusiast who imagined that they could force upon the race of barbarians the truth capable of being understood only by the elect who had advanced along the path. And the spirit of persecution has not yet died out on the land. There are often certain hermetic teachings which, if publicly promulgated, would bring down upon the teachers a great cry of scorn and revilement from the multitude, who would again rise to the cry of crucify, crucify. In this little work we have endeavored to give you the idea of the fundamental teachings of the Krybalion, striving to give you the working principles, leaving you to apply them yourselves, rather than attempting to work out the teachings in detail. If you are a true student, you will be able to work out and apply the principles, and if not, then you must develop yourself into one, for otherwise the Hermetic teachings will be as words, words, words to you. Okay, got it? So, I'm going to give you a shortened, quick summary of what these are all about. So in order to do so, I'm going to jump over here to the 7 Hermetic principles. And really, it's easy to summarize this, because in actuality, I like to use the term, it's not brain surgery. It is, metaphorically, and perhaps spiritually speaking, but it really isn't. Because when you get down to it, if you're listening to this, if you're looking into this information, you already understand how simple it is, because it all makes perfect sense. So let's get into it. There's 7 principles. That's it, 7. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before those whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. And they are these. First one is the principle of mentalism. The principle of mentalism is very simple. It states that the universe itself is a mental construct, a mental universe. That everything that we live in is mental, a huge mind. You've heard this over and over, that God is nothing more than a giant mind. Well, that's what we live in, a huge mind. The second principle here is the principle of correspondence. Principle of correspondence says that in this mind, everything corresponds to everything else. So what's on one dimension corresponds to what's on another dimension. What's in one aspect of this mind corresponds to another aspect. What's above corresponds to what is below. What is below corresponds to what is above. The third principle is the principle of vibration. Because once we understand we live in a mental universe where everything corresponds to everything else, we notice and are aware that this mental universe, being pure energy, for lack of a better word, continually vibrates, is always moving. So we have a mental universe that corresponds to everything and is always in vibration. So we have an opportunity then, because it's vibrating, to affect this and use these energies and these vibrations to affect our lives. The fourth principle is the principle of polarity. It says that everything in the universe, as it's vibrating, is an energy, and all energies have poles. So, in essence, you have one bit of energy. Let's say the energy is temperature. At one pole we have hot, at the other pole we have cold. It's the same energy, just two ends, different poles of the same energy, and we can move back and forth from one pole to the next, going from hot to cold, or finding ourselves somewhere in the middle where we're feeling that lukewarmness in between, where we're not hot or we're not cold. From there we go into the next principle, the principle of rhythm. That all of this universal energy moves back and forth from pole to pole. It's a mind that corresponds, that vibrates. Energy has poles, and as we move back and forth from pole to pole, we're moving in rhythm. And as the universe and energy around us moves in rhythm, we have an opportunity to work with this rhythm. We could dance with it, or we could be run over by it. If we understand how the rhythm is working and we're looking at it, we know when we want to step one way to step out of it so we don't get run over, and we know how to move with it so that we are dancing. The next principle, the sixth one, is the principle of cause and effect. Principle of cause and effect is very simple. Everything we do causes an effect, and every effect that occurs comes about because of something that caused it. Another simpler way is that everything happens for a reason. So whatever we're doing right now is causing something to happen, and there will be effect from it. Whatever that effect is will then cause the next set of actions. And the very last principle is the principle of gender. The principle of gender says the universe is male and female. It's not male and male, it's not female and female, it's male and female. And everything operates in the proper way when it's male and female. So as we move through life and we understand the principle of gender, we understand that male and female need to work together, because that is the basic principle of the universe, one of the basic principles of the universe. So we have all of these principles. That's all there are. 7. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. If we really take time to understand these, which it's not difficult to do, because look how quick I was able to describe it. Everything's a mind. Everything corresponds to itself. Every energy has a vibration with poles that move back and forth in rhythm, affected by the things that we do and how we use this energy with masculine and feminine to create. Masculine energy and feminine energy, we know one side gives, one receives. And that is it. And if we work with these energies, if we work with these 7 principles, we find that we move through life very smoothly and we can manifest the things in our lives that we want. Take these principles and apply them to anyone that does any sort of motivational or positive thinking, anyone talking about the laws of attraction or how to manifest, and you will see these principles embedded in those and everything in life. It lets us know how we can get what we want. All we have to do, we think about it. Our minds are powerful. We think about something, we use our minds, and we know that when we use our minds, whatever we think about is going to correspond to another level. That is above, which is that is below. So if we think up here with our minds, we can bring down into these lower realms what it is we're thinking about, because of the correspondence. And then that energy vibrates. And as that energy vibrates, now it's starting to take on life to start moving, and we start seeing it moving back and forth from pole to pole, and we find out where we want to go. We get in rhythm with it. We learn to dance with this energy, which means we want to have some fun with what's going on in life. If we get too serious, it's not going to do us any good. We want to have fun. We want to dance, get in the rhythm of things, and then just have responsibility for what we do, because what we're going to cause is going to have an effect. And just continue to understand that we go back and forth, male and female energies. That's it. 7 simple principles. Not very difficult, is it? So look over those. As you can see, when you go down this page, each one is explained. And you can take the time to read that, and I would encourage you to do exactly that. Take time to read about each and every one. Because the more you read, the more you learn, the more you understand. Why? Because it's a mental universe. So the more you understand about the mind, the more that which is above will correspond to what you know into this world. And once you begin to grasp that understanding, you'll be able to see then how your understanding is going to vibrate into your reality. And you're going to then be able to work with the dualities and find a balance between them so that you can get in rhythm and in synchronicity with life and do the things that are going to help you and avoid the things that are going to hurt you, and continue to move forward in balance because you understand that as you give, you receive. As you receive, then you give, and you understand that. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. And that is it. That's it. I can go over and over it again, but it's the same principles, and it's not brain surgery. But because it is starting off with the principle of the mind, as I said before, metaphorically and spiritually, it is like brain surgery because we're understanding the workings of the mind. All right? All right. You got it? I know you do. I know that you do. The links are available at First Contact Radio, so you can check it out. Here's an article. It's called How to Overcome the Biggest Obstacles to Meditation. And this is something that is important because a lot of people try to meditate and they run into some of these challenges. So let's look at what this is about. By Lisa Hepner. I've struggled with meditation most of my life. Over a span of 15 years, I've purchased meditation CDs, attended meditation classes, and read books on meditation, yet was still unable to incorporate it into my daily life. The meditation CDs usually put me to sleep, and the classes and books made me feel like a failure. In fact, my first meditation was quite painful and always felt like I was too busy to meditate. The sad truth is that while most of us are aware of the benefits of meditation, very few of us actually have a regular meditation practice. There are a lot of obstacles to overcome in order to incorporate meditation into our daily lives. I overcame these obstacles and have been meditating daily for 2 years, as well as meditating periodically throughout the day. Through meditation, I've experienced more peace and joy in my life. I've become less reactive and less stressed, and I have more energy and creativity, and I know you can experience these benefits as well. At first, I think it's important to define what meditation is. Many of us have misconceptions about meditation. The most common misconception is that meditation is about getting rid of thought. Well, that would set up anyone for failure. Meditation, rather, is about becoming the observer of the thought rather than the reactor to the thought. Meditation, pure and simple, is being fully present in the moment. In the meditative state, you are aware of the truth of who you are and beyond your body and your mind. Have you ever been in awe at a beautiful sunset, so much so that you forgot about what happened 5 minutes ago and you weren't thinking about the future? You were completely in the moment and you had the sense of aliveness inside. Well, that's meditation. So now we know what meditation is, so how do we incorporate it into our daily lives? I knew the reason why I had struggled for years before I developed a regular meditation practice, but I was curious to see if others had the same reasons. So I conducted an international survey on the biggest obstacles to meditation and received over 400 responses from people in 46 different countries. Below are the top 6 biggest obstacles to meditation and how you can overcome them. Before I move forward, I just want to backtrack here. Meditation, as it says, it's just being in the moment, observing this mind that we're a part of. Okay? So, number 1, not having enough time. Biggest obstacle people face in developing a regular meditation practice is time. We don't have enough time to meditate. That's what we tell ourselves. Yet there are 4 simple ways to incorporate meditation into your life without taking any time out of the current schedule. First, don't wait. Meditation. Pledge by converting your waiting time into meditating time. The average person waits 45 to 60 minutes a day. We wait for appointments. We wait in traffic. We wait in line at the grocery store. We wait on hold while we're on the phone. Yet those precious waiting times can be converted into meditating times. So next time you're waiting for an appointment, take a moment to notice your breath. Next time you are waiting in line at the grocery store, take a moment to smile from the inside. Second, have a daily activity be your meditation. You incorporate meditation into any of these activities. Brushing your teeth, emptying the dishwasher, showering, eating, walking, folding laundry, etc. Okay. Second, lack of self-discipline. Second biggest obstacle people face in incorporating meditation into their daily life is the lack of self-discipline. Meditation takes discipline. I know many of us start out with the great intentions to meditate daily or to exercise daily, and we might do it for a couple weeks, but then we lack the discipline necessary to continue. That's why life coaches, personal trainers, and other professionals have been created to hold us accountable and to keep us focused. So if you lack self-discipline, find a meditation partner. Ask your spouse, partner, friend, co-worker to join you in incorporating meditation into your daily life. Hold each other accountable. 3, not having the right place or space to meditate. The third biggest problem people mention is not having the right space or place to meditate. This is perceived as an obstacle, but you can literally meditate anywhere while you are in a car or walking through a crowded hall. You don't have to always close your eyes when you meditate, and certainly if you're driving a car, you don't want to close your eyes unless, of course, you're parked, not moving anywhere. But you can do open eye meditations just as easily, just allowing your mind to get into that zone. That way you can still be focused on what you're doing, while allowing your mind to do its business as well. Falling asleep is another issue. The fourth most common practice to meditation is falling asleep. Yet many meditation CDs say it's okay if you fall asleep because you are still receiving the benefits of meditation. The only benefit you're receiving is the peaceful sleep. And yet this is a benefit too. Meditation is awareness, is being fully present in the moment. When you're asleep, not meditating. So here's some tips if you fall asleep while meditating. Don't meditate at night before bed. So often many of us want to meditate daily but don't think about it until we are in bed or getting ready for bed, and we try to meditate and then we fall asleep. Try it at the time when you're alert, like in the mornings or maybe in the afternoons. Small increments throughout the day. Just pick some time where you don't have to worry that you're going to fall asleep. The fifth reason is complaint from people is that there are too many distractions. Yet distractions don't have to be distractions. For example, during one of my meditations, my cat Vinny came up to me and started meowing. He would stop. He wouldn't stop. He wanted my attention. Now, to most people, this would be a distraction and a reason to stop meditating. Instead, I opened my eyes, sat down on the floor with him, and patted him while noticing my breath. I incorporated my cat into my meditation. Instead of allowing him to become a distraction, he became my meditation. And the last one is not knowing how to meditate. Meditation is about being present at the moment. It's really about finding what works for you. Again, you can incorporate meditation into your life without taking time out of your schedule. Your life can become a meditation. It's those moments throughout the day that we are fully present in the moment that matter. And through meditation, we discover the bliss of being that we are. Okay? So there you go. It's not all that difficult. Meditation, we do them every day. And it's just simply closing our eyes and taking a few moments to tune in. Tune in to what's going on inside of us. You know, the kingdom of heaven is inside. It's also outside. We see the outside every day with our eyes when they're open as we're walking through the world, making our way up here and there. But we go inside, we experience something else. And that is what we're doing when we meditate. Just going inside to experience what's there. Sometimes once we experience what's there, it allows us to really make some positive changes. For example, when there's a lot of chatter going on inside the mind, we're restless and we can't do anything because we're too restless. We can't focus. Well, as we meditate, we learn to let go of all of this chatter that's going on. And we start to feel better because we're letting out things that are just keeping us on edge. And so meditation is very simple. It's not a difficult process by any means. We do it anytime, all the time anyway, even if we don't understand what it is. Whenever we just close our eyes and just want to take a few moments. That's it. All right, here's our message for today. It comes to us from the Elohim. Here we go.
The Elohim, Expansion Through Detachment.
By Carla Thompson, March 19th, 2015.
The Elohim.
Exquisite beauty floods into those whose thoughts are harnessed and closed to external influence, whose emotional bodies are detaching from the drama and pain of the lower expressions that are floating around you, and through you. As these detachments flow, one rises higher and higher into the ecstatic frequencies that, if one tunes in carefully, overlay the lower vibrations, that if these are separated energetically, one can tune into the bliss at will, and almost tune out the heaviness in totality. There is a new expansion now that overlays all previous experience. This shall move everyone into a new frame of reference beyond human knowing. It is imperative to breathe, to let go of the heavy thoughts, the negativity. One must use great courage and great mental discipline to achieve this. It is easy to say that it is not possible to let go, but we say you are better off if you exercise your indomitable spirit, by allowing it to fully enter into your body now, by inviting it in with your whole heart, and allowing it to engage this life expression at the highest level of truth and invigoration. Great emotional psychic strength is the order of the day now. The luring of the third dimension, including the entrapment of most digital exchanges, should be overcome and moved aside from your experience. This great expansion occurring now at an algorithmic pace, moves in great aspect, like the dam that opens its floodgates to pour life-giving water down over the dry, cracked and barren riverbed below. These energies also exert a powerful realignment with the source, as they not only provide light at the quantum level, they bring life to the worlds here as well as to all upper worlds being created in every moment by you as creator gods. Enjoy the physical engagement of this life you are focusing on, that your awareness is consciously holding. There is healing here that accompanies the expansion in the created worlds. All is being healed, even in the presence of those who desire destruction, because the forces of light, the beings of light, outnumber those of the dark, those who compromise and restrict their outlook and the flow of divine energy through the God spark within the sacred heart chamber. Continue to hold as much joy as your being can hold. As negativity fails to thrive, joy backfills and creates more joy, more light. The high vibration of pure emotions a human being can hold, such as joy, love, unconditional peace, and caring for all, displaces instantly the negatively charged emotions. Play and laugh. There is one point we wish to emphasize now, something we always hold as an absolute truth, and that is the ascension is an event of expansion and not contraction. To hold focus on particular dates is linear thinking, and is a contraction. Only think of the now moment as this serves to fuel the expansion. These times reflect an alignment, by choice, and a trusting in all that is. All is perfection. We are the Elohim and we share in our love and our infinite peace for you, always.
Alright, that's a good message from the Elohim. So, let's move on. We have Warrior of Light, the next passage. This one here is a warrior of light is never cowardly. Flight might be an excellent form of defense, but it cannot be used when one is very afraid. When in doubt, the warrior prefers to face defeat and then lick his wounds, because he knows that if he flees, he is giving in to the aggressor greater power than he deserves. In difficult and painful times, the warrior faces overwhelming odds with heroism, resignation, and courage. So that brings us to our meditation. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. Continue to breathe in and out. Think about the moon and the tides as they move back and forth. As we go from a new moon to a full moon and a full moon back down again. Or as the ocean, the waves of the ocean go in and out. This rhythm in life is moving. And as we dance with this rhythm of life, we learn to have more fun. And we feel the vibrations of this life that is moving in rhythm. Let us imagine all of our chakras are open, starting with the chakra at the top of the head. Imagine it drawing in light from the cosmos, white light coming down, entering that crown chakra, and see that crown chakra the color violet. And then the light moves down from that crown chakra and it moves down to the third eye, right between the two eyebrows, and it goes from violet, it changes into indigo, becomes a little bit lighter in color. Right at the third eye, the place where we see through dimensions of space and time. And then the light continues to move down from the third eye chakra, and the color changes and it goes from indigo to blue. And there at the throat chakra, our communication center, how we communicate to the world, And from there, the energy continues to move down to the heart space, to the heart chakra, and there it goes from blue and it turns to green at the heart chakra, our center of love. And the light continues to move down from our heart chakra, and the green color becomes yellow. And this is the chakra just below our rib cage, right in the solar plexus area. Yellow, this is the mental center. And the light continues to move down further yet, down to the chakra right at the navel, right at the belly button, and the color is orange. This is our emotional center. And then finally the energy moves all the way down to the bottom of the spine, to the root chakra. And this root chakra is the color red. And then the energy continues down into the earth. And we feel this energy from above and from below to above. And we feel this energy flowing through us. And as it flows through us, we just take a moment to contemplate the principles of how this energy is moving. We think about the 7 principles of Hermetic philosophy as outlined in Krybalion. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. And we allow these ideas and these principles just to move through our being. And as we contemplate them, we find that deeper aspects of our being are brought forth. And we remember aspects of ourselves that we may have forgotten. And so as we go into the world this day, on this day of new beginnings of the sun, of the moon, of calendar change, of the zodiac starting at the beginning, we ourselves make a fresh start into the world. So see ourselves on a journey now, having put the past of winter behind us. We now move forward with the hopes of a bright spring season. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of contemplating all of these ways of manifestation, these 7 principles. And let the conscious mind come back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. Open your eyes. That's it. That is it, my friends. We've arrived. The spring is knocking upon our door. So, take these last couple hours as we're leaving the sign of Pisces. Maybe do a review. Maybe look at what it is you need to do to move forward with this next phase of life. All signs, all energies around us are telling us it's time for change. It's time for the next phase. So let's move forward. Let's move along with this phase and be in synchronicity with what life is truly about. That's it for today, my friends. As a matter of fact, that's it for the entire week. But I will be back next week on Monday. You have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the beginning of this spring season. Have fun. Be safe. I love you. Keep loving each other. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.